Right now, on the Reykjanes Peninsula in Iceland, one of the most primal battles you can imagine is unfolding. We're talking about human ingenuity and raw, brute force being pushed to the absolute limit against a volcano. And it really all comes down to one almost unbelievable question. I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a blockbuster movie, right? But for the engineers and the construction crews on the ground in Iceland, this is not fiction. This is a very real, very dangerous problem that they have to solve day in and day out. And this image, wow, this just says it all. This is the friend line. You're looking at massive machinery operated by some incredibly brave people, working just feet away from active lava flows. They are literally building walls at the gates of a volcano as it's erupting. So to really get what this fight is all about, you first have to understand the battlefield. And in Iceland, well, the country isn't just a place with volcanoes. In a lot of ways, the country is a volcano. You see, the entire island is sitting right on top of the mid-Atlantic ridge. That's a massive boundary where two of Earth's tectonic plates are literally pulling apart. It makes this one of the most volcanically active spots on the entire planet. On average, there's a new eruption about every 4 years. It's a land that's constantly being remade. Now, this is where things get really serious. Since the end of 2023, these huge cracks in the Earth, they're called fissures, have been opening up. And the lava isn't just spilling out into the middle of nowhere. It's directly threatening the town of Grindavik, the world-famous Blue Lagoon, and maybe most important of all, the Svartsjö geothermal power plant, which provides electricity and hot water for thousands of people. The stakes are incredibly high. So you're faced with this completely unstoppable force of nature. What do? Well, the Icelanders came up with a plan that sounds almost as impossible. They decided to build an immovable object. And that's not just hype. Seriously. This isn't your average construction job where you have months of planning. This is an emergency response, 24/7, on a scale that is just mind-boggling. It's a modern-day epic playing out in real time. Just try to wrap your head around this number for a second. 3 million. In just 6 months, crews have moved over 3 million cubic meters of rock and earth to build these protective walls. That is a truly colossal amount of material, and they're moving it at unbelievable speeds. So how in the world do they do it? Well, the process itself is brutally simple, and it just never stops. Giant bulldozers literally rip into the old, cooled lava fields. They push all that shattered rock into these huge piles. Then a nonstop parade of trucks hauls it over to the barrier, where it gets built up layer by layer, meter by meter. And here's the crazy, almost poetic part of all this. The very material they're using to fight the volcano is the volcano. It's the leftovers from past eruptions. They're basically fighting fire with fire. Or, to be more accurate, they're fighting new, molten lava with old, super hardened lava rock. And that stuff is incredibly tough to break. To even make a dent in this old lava, you need some serious muscle. We are talking about absolute monsters of machines like the Caterpillar D11, one of the biggest bulldozers on Earth. They have this massive steel claw on the back called a ripper, and it focuses all of the machine's immense power onto a single point, literally tearing the volcanic rock apart. This is the brawn of the operation, for sure. But all of that raw power, all that brute force, would be completely wasted if it wasn't for the incredible intelligence that's guiding it. This is where the brains of the operation really shine. You really have to think of it like a battle being fought on two fronts. On one side, you have all that heavy iron, the brawn. But on the other, you have this super sophisticated digital operation going on in the background. Drones are constantly mapping the ground, powerful software is modeling where the lava might go, and GPS is guiding every single move the machines make. Okay, I know this diagram looks a little intense, but the idea behind it is actually a really fast repeating cycle. Drones fly over and collect data. That data gets plugged into computer models. Engineers then use that to design the walls in their software. And those plans, they get sent out to the teams on the ground, sometimes in just a matter of hours. And this is where the real genius comes in. The engineers took a piece of software called HECRAS, which is normally used to predict how water floods an area, and they adapted it to model something way more complicated: thick, gooey, 1,000-degree lava. This lets them run simulations to see what the lava might do, and crucially, to test if their wall designs are actually going to hold up. And look at this.
this is the proof right here. You can see it in action. The colored part shows the computer model's prediction of where the lava would flow. The blue lines show where the lava actually went. I mean, the accuracy is just stunning. It's this kind of predictive power that lets them stay one step ahead of a total disaster.
And here's how it all comes together. This is where the brains plug directly into the brawn. Those final design plans are sent from an engineer's laptop and uploaded straight into the GPS systems inside the machines, telling the operators exactly where to build and down to the centimeter. It's incredible precision in the middle of chaos.
So, they've got the power, they've got the technology. But what's the end game here? What is this all really for?
I mean, that's the big question at the heart of all this, isn't it? Can all of this amazing engineering actually defeat a volcano?
And the honest answer is no. You can't stop an eruption. The goal here isn't to conquer nature. It's all about managing the crisis. These barriers are designed to push the lava in a different direction, to slow it down, and to buy just enough precious time to save what can be saved. And it's not just about building walls. They're using a whole toolbox of strategies. They've got diversion barriers to steer the lava and dam barriers to block it completely. They've even brought back a tactic from a famous 1973 eruption, pumping massive amounts of seawater on the lava's edge to cool it down and harden it into a new wall.
And this is the result. It's a fragile victory, but it's a victory nonetheless. You can see the massive wall they built standing strong, protecting that vital power station from a sea of black, hardened lava. It worked. They bought the time they so desperately needed.
You know, maybe the most amazing part of this whole story is what happens long after the lava cools. That same rock that was so destructive eventually breaks down and creates incredibly mineral-rich soil. And the same geothermal energy that fuels the volcano also powers the country and creates places like the Blue Lagoon. The symbol of destruction actually becomes a foundation for renewal.
Which really makes you think, in this incredible fight between our technology and the raw power of the planet, maybe victory isn't about stopping nature at all. Maybe it's about learning how to adapt, how to endure, and how to coexist on a world that is still very much alive and kicking.